stories to be told.
Oh, Belle, you're so hot. If you weren't my daughter, I'd probably be dating you.
I can show you the world.
New songs to be sung.
We don't talk about Jeffrey, no. We don't talk about Jeffrey.
New sequels to timeless classics.
Lock her up!
Okay, now I'm gonna grab you by the pussy. Where is your pussy?
Because not every voice needs to be heard.
Bambi, trans women are women.
Olaf, you are made out of snow, right?
Yes.
So that means climate change isn't real.
Making our company great again with brand new adventures.
I'm gonna go suck Donald Trump's dick.
The new Disney. It's a small world after all.
And Andrew Schultz both made posts condemning the benching of Kimmel on social media. Others spoke out directly on their shows.
This was Trump and the FCC leaning on Disney, bullying them and the affiliate owners, and they capitulated to Trump. They're scared right now, and if Trump and the extreme right and this idiot who runs the FCC, they don't like somebody, they're going to bully them down.
In terms of censorship, freedom of speech is more under attack now, honestly, than I think it has ever been. If you're a staunch Trump guy, I think you should really look at, oh, this guy said in the inauguration, I'm going to pass an executive order to ban government, to end government censorship and make speech free again, or whatever it was that he said. Mm-hmm. You said that in your inauguration. Mm-hmm. What happened?
Also, in a welcome development, there have been lots of influential voices in the conservative movement in the last day or so that have been speaking out against this erosion of the First Amendment. Karl Rove and the Wall Street Journal editorial board both published pieces this week condemning the crackdown on free speech in the wake of Kirk's murder. And Tucker Carlson and Mike Pence, two guys with very different perspectives on the MAGA movement, both seem to be somewhat on the same page about this. Even as Pence supported the decision to remove Kimmel, he expressed concern for the larger crackdown that the administration is openly planning.
We got to be careful about putting America on trial whenever we see evil overtake the hearts of any individual. And in this case, absent additional facts, there was one person responsible for Charlie Kirk's assassination. He needs to be brought to justice, swift and certain. Can people in public life do better in the way that we speak with one another and about the issues facing the country? Of course. I think democracy depends on heavy doses of civility.
You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if it is, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever, and there never will be.
What we're seeing from this administration is a frontal assault, unapologetic, on one of the most cherished freedoms we have, the one that we celebrate arguably the most, the freedom to speak out and criticize the very government we elect to represent us without fear of being crushed or bullied or threatened.
Trump is exploiting Charlie Kirk to silence dissent. There's no other way to put it. Here's Trump's Attorney General threatening to prosecute Americans for exercising their First Amendment right of free speech.
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech.
Oh, well, I guess if it's just hate speech, that's probably okay. Only, what constitutes hate speech? Apparently, even a reporter daring to question Trump.
What do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? She'll probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC.
3 key facts. Number 1. Before we even have any facts in the case, Trump and Republicans are exploiting it to silence, prosecute, and eradicate their opponents, even using FCC pressure to get Jimmy Kimmel taken off the air. They are pretending that mere criticism of conservatives is tantamount to incitement of violence, and they have now sworn to use the power of the state to crush all liberal-leaning groups and charities that they claim are coordinating to say mean things about Trump.
We are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks.
One of the charities they've explicitly targeted is the Southern Poverty Law Center, an anti-hate group, which was launched by civil rights leaders in 1971 specifically to stop political violence against black Americans. But they're not just going after big organizations. They're also trying to dox and blacklist every random American who has posted anything critical of Charlie Kirk. Congressman Derek Van Orden, who, by the way, before getting elected, appears to have been photographed among the violent criminal thugs who attacked America on January 6th, has been on Twitter nonstop, doxing ordinary citizens and calling for the firing of teachers, doctors, office workers, and anyone who had anything critical to say about Kirk. Congressman Clay Higgins says he will even fight to revoke the driver's licenses of people who say mean things about Kirk. But let's be clear, this isn't really about Kirk, and it certainly isn't about hate speech. It is about silencing all non-MAGA voices, because the Trump team sees the mere existence of an opposition party as an act of terror.
The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization.
Number 2. It is objective fact that the vast majority of political violence in the U.S. has been right-wing. From the attacker who took the life of Minnesota's Democratic State House Speaker and her husband and injured a Democratic state senator and his wife in their homes, to the violent attempt on Nancy Pelosi in which her husband was gravely injured, which the Trumps found hilarious.
How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
And then there was the kidnapping plot against Governor Gretchen Whitmer after Trump tweeted at his followers to, quote, liberate Michigan. A lot of the right-wing violence has been specifically advancing white identity extremism, such as the El Paso and Buffalo massacres, Charlottesville, the 2017 Portland stabbing attack, the 2015 attack against Black Lives Matter activists in Minneapolis, and the Lafayette, Louisiana and Charleston massacres. And who can forget how Proud Boys and Oath Keepers committed criminal, violent, seditious conspiracy against the United States on January 6th, backed by a mob of criminal thugs who ransacked the Capitol, sought to overturn the results of an election, called to hang Mike Pence, and brutalized more than 140 Capitol police, all at Trump's bidding. In a report released last year, the Department of Justice specifically affirmed that, quote, militant, nationalistic, white supremacist violent extremism has increased in the United States. In fact, the number of far-right attacks continues to outpace all other types of terrorism and domestic violent extremism. Since 1990, far-right extremists have committed far more ideologically motivated homicides than far-left or radical Islamist extremists. This report was publicly available to view on the Department of Justice website until just this week, when it mysteriously disappeared. And no major American politician in living memory has ever used such dehumanizing rhetoric against the opposition as Trump, who has called his opponents vermin, scum, sick, and evil. Number 3. Democrats and the press are not using extreme rhetoric when they say Trump is a threat to democracy, or that he's employing fascist tactics. They're describing reality. When someone who has already tried to overturn one free and fair election uses or threatens the power of the state to silence, prosecute, or otherwise go after any form of opposition or criticism, no other words are appropriate.
This is a joke of a government, by the way. This is a joke of an FCC. I know Brendan Carr. He's the biggest dork you'll ever meet, who is absolutely desperate for people's approval and desperate for fame, which is why he's doing what he's doing, because he's making MAGA and Donald Trump happy. So he's using the position of government, he's using his perch in government to try to build his own fame. Now, we as Americans have to push back against this, guys. Because if the government even threatens to go after our First Amendment right and companies obey because they have to worry about their bottom line, then we may as well not have a First Amendment because we are being silenced anyway. So what would I say if I was a Democrat? I would be very clear that if we take charge again, the FCC will be completely overhauled, and any company that does this obeying in advance, any company that does this acquiescing to threats from the FCC, because they have a merger coming up, which, by the way, they do, they will be investigated for antitrust. We will not accept this. We will hold people accountable for going against our First Amendment rights. Guys, this is not a joke. This isn't a fire drill. This isn't something that we're making a big deal, but it's really not. This is a 5-alarm fire. And I'll tell you, I believe that MAGA and Donald Trump have overstepped their mandate with this. We all have compassion for the killing of Charlie Kirk. And everybody I've seen that's serious and not an anonymous face on the internet has said nothing like that should ever happen in the United States. But they are trying to now use this as a way to silence their opponents, and we have to refuse to allow ourselves to be silenced. Period. They will not silence us. By the way, they can't silence us because we have a First Amendment. All they can do is threaten, and we can beat them in court every time. But if these corporations decide to settle instead of going to court, that's a whole different thing. So we should be boycotting ABC, boycotting Disney. The Screen Actors Guild, the Writers Guild should all make the decision to not produce content for ABC or Disney until this is fixed. We have to stand together to defend our First Amendment rights, or we're going to wake up one day.
Sinclair, the nation's largest owner of ABC affiliates, says that Jimmy Kimmel's suspension is not enough. They're calling on the FCC and ABC to take further action. The right-wing broadcasting giant says that it will not air Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future. They are demanding that Kimmel apologize to the Kirk family, donate money to both the Kirks and the far-right group Turning Point USA, and that ABC hold formal talks about its, quote, commitment to professionalism and accountability. Sinclair is also pressuring the FCC to strip national networks of control over their channels, and this weekend they are going to air specials honoring Charlie Kirk across their ABC affiliates and the other stations that they own. Think about how frightening this is. The largest pro-Trump media conglomerate, controlling the most local news stations in America, is doing Trump's bidding, silencing his critics and pumping out pro-MAGA propaganda as local news. Remember that viral clip where dozens of local anchors read the same exact script, and Elon Musk, Trump, and Republicans pointed to it as the fake liberal media?
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things they are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
That was Sinclair, this same right-wing conglomerate. Now they are openly silencing anyone Trump sees as an enemy while forcing MAGA propaganda into homes across the country. We'll keep following the story as long as we can, so make sure you follow along for more.
Hey everybody, so I found out that there's a protest at Disney headquarters and I'm going because anger into action, right? Let's see what it's like. There's a person ahead of me just walking with a sign, obviously to the same protest, that just says, "Fuck this shit." Perfect. Oh my god, you guys, this is amazing! Ah, thank you! Okay, wait, I gotta show you this whole crowd. This is so good. I'm walking all the way down to the end so you can see. was just thrown together last night. Look at all those people. And look over here, more of them. Look at that. Hey, Walt Disney, this is what democracy looks like.
The question is, do I think that what Kimmel said is appropriate? Not really. I think it's terrible. And do I think it's good that Disney yanked his show? Yeah, I do, actually. That was their choice. Listen, what he said is despicable. Let's not get around that. I mean, what he said was totally despicable. So I don't feel sorry for him at all. And I think that Disney did the right thing.
I have real questions about the First Amendment and media companies folding rather than maintaining robust dialogue. So I'm very troubled by it. I don't know the details. I've seen the headlines, but I haven't had a chance to dig into the details. But it causes me concern.
Clearly, what he said was terrible. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel's not appreciative. One of his children was joked about in a tragedy for his situation, and I think we all need to bring to the table what would we do if it was our child. And when we start making comments and criticisms and tracks like that.
Listen, we are quickly becoming a censorship state. Donald Trump, in the wake of the tragic murder of Charlie Kirk, has decided to exploit that tragedy to try to silence his political opponents. I think Kimmel is just the beginning. I think you're going to see a potential dizzying campaign of political repression against anyone who opposes this president. This is a moment where Republicans here need to decide, are you going to be loyal to a president who's trying to destroy your democracy and free speech, or are you going to stand up for what's right? Everybody's going to have a decision to make very soon. This is a red alert moment for the country. It's super serious.
It's a free country. I mean, the FCC is entitled to offer their opinion. I thought Mr. Kimmel's comments were very inappropriate. I think they constituted inappropriate. It was an inappropriate thing to say. Now, it's legal. It's perfectly legal and constitutional. Because I also believe in freedom of speech.
I think Jimmy Kimmel was taken off air because he's a unfunny activist. And people just got kind of tired of late night television being dominated by political activists who aren't funny. And whether Brendan Carr says something, it just has no bearing on this. Colbert's show was losing money. Jimmy Kimmel's ratings are terrible because it's just not funny.
Well, guys, the big story is that Jimmy Kimmel was suspended by ABC after pressure from the FCC, leaving everyone thinking WTF.
Visit to England couldn't have gone better for our president. Finally, a country affording our great leader the respect and deference that any sun god would command.
We saw the dismissal of a very well-known chat show host in America last night, Mr. Kimmel. Is free speech more under attack in Britain or America?
How dare you, sir! How dare you, sir! What outfit are you with, sir? The Antifa Herald Tribune? Why, I wouldn't even line my parents' cage with your rag. There's a very reasonable explanation for what befell this scallywag, Kimball.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not.
Shut the up! Yay! You may call it free speech in jolly old England, but in America we have a little something called the First Amendment. And let me tell you how it works.
He does not have a right to have a television show where he lies his ass off to the American people.
Well, there are repercussions to spreading lies.
Exactly. And even though 2 months ago, our president, because of his grand ability to see the future, it's a curse, somehow knew that Kimball would be next, as he explicitly said. You can't just make things up on television. People cannot just go on television and mislead viewers with made-up crap.
millions of illegal aliens that Border Czar Harris brought into the country will be voting.
The bottom line is this. There is massive voter fraud.
Global warming is a hoax.
Crime is at an all-time high right now.
50 million on condoms in Gaza.
They're taking people's pets and killing them and eating them.
On January 6, 2 years ago, the overwhelming majority were peaceful. They were orderly and meek. These were not insurrectionists. They were sightseers.
All true! Oh, your lordship. I do not know whence these peasants come. That last roll of clips, all true. Especially that last one about sightseers, because technically anything you see is a sight. Even if that is you punching a cop, I see. Therefore, I am sightseeing. But of course, even before this Jason Kringle situation at ABC, there were plenty of other people in America exercising their free speech incorrectly. So here's some examples of things you cannot say about your political opponents.
You can't call someone who you disagree with a fascist.
Leaders cannot call their political opponents Nazis and fascists and enemies of the state.
How horrible and dangerous it is to view people with whom we disagree as somehow being less than human.
Thank you. You can't say fascist. You can't say enemy of the state. You can't say less than human. These are simple rules that any responsible member of a society can easily follow.
The Democrats, they're fascists. Joe Biden, he's an enemy of the state. It's a very demonic party. Nancy Pelosi said, please don't call them animals. They're human beings. I said, no, they're animals. Of course, I think she's an animal, too. You want to know the truth?
Technically correct. She's not a mineral. You know what? It's not really about the specific words. It's about having a basic sense of humanity.
People on the left are much likelier to defend and celebrate political violence. This is not a both sides problem.
The First Amendment, though, does not protect entertainers who say crass or thoughtless things, as Jimmy Kimmel did.
Thank you. Thank both of you. Or I think we only have to be nice to one of you. You know, it is true. I do. Point taken. Only a bad person would celebrate violence or make crass jokes about it.
Nancy Pelosi, well, she's got protection when she's in D.C. Apparently her house doesn't have a lot of protection.
Donald Trump Jr. shared an image of a hammer and a pair of underwear that had the caption, "Got my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume ready."
Well, maybe Paul Pelosi needs the hammer instead of the metal.
Well, it's metal. All right. Rachel, good to see you.
It's metal.
No, stop! And by the way, there were consequences. This gentleman had to leave television. I'm not sure where he went, but I'm sure it's not some prestigious, consequential position he's not remotely qualified for. Listen, these two could learn a lesson from our dear president, who, like Santa, knows that we are all God's children and would never. That is what Santa is, right? God's children. Is that? I'm not so up on the lore. I know he's good, but the president knows we're all God's children, and the president would never make light of a politically motivated attack.
We'll stand up to crazy Nancy Pelosi, who ruined San Francisco. How's her husband doing, by the way? Anybody know?
You see, that's how it's done. You stop in the middle of a speech to inquire about the condition of an 82-year-old man who was attacked with a hammer in his own home. He has a fractured skull, Mr. President, but thank you for asking. Your kindness is only outshined by your manliness. So I don't know who this Johnny Drimmel live ABC character is, but the point is, our great administration has laid out very clear rules on free speech. Now, some naysayers may argue that this administration's speech concerns are merely a cynical ploy, a thin gruel of a ruse, a smokescreen to obscure an unprecedented consolidation of power and unitary intimidation, principleless and coldly antithetical to any experiment in a constitutional republic governance. Some people would say that. Not me, though. I think it's great.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time, oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. The time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth. He's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for, Trucker John.
Hello, that was kind of funny looking. Good morning, everybody. Test, test, test. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let's see here. Testing, testing. Yeah, I guess the mic is on. I think the mic is on, the external mic. It's 11:47 a.m. In the Pacific time zone here in Las Vegas. We're now currently sitting at, it's only 76 degrees. Our high is only going to be 86 according to my watch. So yeah, cooling down. The next few days, we are supposed to be getting into the 90s, I guess. Hopefully our triple digits are over. Anyhow, good morning, guys. That was quite the intro. I know that one went a little long, but it's just, you know, I try to get stuff that kind of shows what's going on right now. And we got this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, censorship. We've got really Trump using this as a pretext just to assert his authority, his authoritarianism. He really wants to control the media completely. It's all about control. That's what authoritarians do. They assert control. They don't like not being able to control the message of the media, what gets out on the media. So that's what this is about. Anyhow, go to the chat here. Sandy Foltz was first, looks like. Hello, Sandy. Paul Burrows is second. We got Lynn in here. Lynn's in there. Susie Jones was in the chat. We got William from Philly. Hello, William. Good to see you. Paul Burrows is here. who was here. John Glad. Glad to see John Glad. Roxanne, 79. John says, better late than never. Roxanne with the Hal Sparks raid. Thanks, Roxanne, 79, for coming on over from Hal, from the Hal Sparks Show. There's Mr. Spock. We've got, I can't do it. I'm just going to give up. But anyhow, live long and prosper, except for your chickens. James Jaramillo is here, and AM is also here. Squirrel Girl, good to see Squirrel Girl. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. David Weiss from Denver, Colorado is here. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the old driver's lounge. Roxanne 79 says, Deji got picked up this morning. I cried, but I found out they need me Monday for overnight. And in October for 3 days, that made me happy again. I'm going to miss my little hurricane, but she was a lot. Daisy, Daisy, Daisy. Alton Gillespie's here. Hey, Alton, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Alton from, is that supposed to be goddamn Texas? Goddamn Texas. Bonnie Thompson's here. Bonnie says, I canceled Disney Plus a couple days ago. A lot of people are. I didn't. I've had Disney and all that stuff. I have not. I currently don't have it. I haven't had it for a while. Probably a couple years now. So I couldn't cancel it because I already didn't have it. Bonnie Thompson says, what happened? Trump lied. That's what happened. And you guys saw in the clip there, like they're going, what Kimmel said was awful. It was awful. It made me think, I don't think they even heard what Kimmel said. Because I don't think Jimmy Kimmel has said one bad thing about Charlie Kirk, especially since he was murdered. I mean, maybe before that, if you go back and look through his past shows, he might have made some comment. I don't even know if he did or not. Maybe he made some comment on something that Charlie Kirk said or something. But that would be going back way, way back. But Jimmy Kimmel has not said anything disrespectful about the murder of Charlie Clark, to my knowledge. I think he's been very respectful of that, and wishing giving his condolences to the family. What he did was he made fun of Trump and Trump's reaction or lack thereof of Kirk's death. That's what he did. He made fun of Trump. He didn't make fun of or glorify or celebrate Kirk's murder. Nothing like that. But these motherfuckers, they get out in front of the camera and they act like they're like, what he said was awful. It was just completely awful. It was, I don't think they even heard what he said. So you know what, you motherfuckers? I'm talking to you, fucking Twinkle Toes. What's that guy's name? Josh Hawley, and fucking John Kennedy, who should not be allowed to have that name. Fuck you, motherfuckers. If you're gonna make comments about something, you should fucking see it first. Anyhow, back to the chat. Let's see who's here. Alvin Stube is here. We got Alvin and Alton both here today. Bethany S. Arbaugh is here. Hello, Bethany. Good to see you. Asborn Knutson is here. Says Charlie Kirk kicked me in the butt last week. I just smiled, turned the other cheek. I didn't care. No hate to sell, but damn, I'll laugh when he's burning in hell. Guess is hate speech. I don't know. That's a very interesting post there. Lynn says the Senate passed unanimously Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day, October 14th. Really, Dims? Yeah, I didn't hear about that. I haven't heard about that. A Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day, October 14th. Just thank God that's not on my birthday. My birthday is in October, and thank God it's not on that day. I don't want to share my birthday with fucking Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. And yeah, really, Dims? I mean, playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, I mean, the only thing I could think that they would go along with it is because they don't want to give the Republicans, a cudgel, that they could use to hit them with, or hammer them with, because then the Republicans could turn around and twist it to be like, see, these Democrats, it's these Democrats, they don't care about Charlie Kirk and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, that's probably the reason for that they voted for it. They went along with it, just not to give the Republicans some added ammo against them. And plus, it's probably something that's going to just blow over anyhow. It's not like they voted for, it's not like the Dems went along and voted with eliminating Social Security or something like that. AM says, but anyhow, I don't know. I have to learn more about that, about the reasoning of the vote. AM says, as a president, he ought to know that his words weigh heavy and can potentially start a war either home or around the world. This is not reality TV, sir. Yeah, Trump is an idiot. And his words do just the office of the presidency of the United States. Yeah, just by the virtue of the fact of that position, anything you say is going to be heard all around the world. And on the one hand, I think he knows that, but on the other hand, I don't think he thinks about it half the time, or he just doesn't give a fuck. He definitely doesn't really talk like a person who really gives a fuck about the repercussions, or negative repercussions. Bethany S. Arbaugh says, my daughter has a show on YouTube making fun of TikTok videos. I'm scared for her. Well, if she's just making fun of TikTok videos, she's probably okay. Hopefully she's not. If she's making fun of Trump, if those TikTok videos are, have Trump on them, even if she's not making fun of Trump, she's making fun of the videos, or who knows how they construe that, or misconstrue, or whatever. Captain Trips is here. Captain Trips says, winning. Robert Perez from down San Diego way. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Thanks for dropping on by. Robert says, yo, trucker, John, good day. Damon Dog, the big dog's here. Hey, Damon Dog, good to see you. Damon Dog says, hey, trucker John, and saying hi to Roxanne and Bethany and everybody else. Hello, Damon, back at you. Hello, back at you. Bonnie Thompson says, I have trust issues with R's who are never Trumpers now. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I do. I sort of like Kinzinger or whatever. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he was he was an R. Yeah, but yeah, it kind of take what they say with a grain of salt. But I do admire that, Kinzinger, and we think of Liz Cheney too. How they did stand up to Trump. It cost them their careers, really, their political careers. But yeah, there's still a little bit of hesitancy there to just, have full trust with them. Alrighty. Yeah, Bonnie Thompson says Sinclair has been sending scripts for on-air talent to read for years. Yeah, I remember that. Well, like in that clip, they showed that little thing with all the like anchor people from all these different channels saying the same exact thing. Yeah, they all got the script. So much for sort of like independent broadcasting. Hey, there's David in Grand Prairie, Texas. Good to see David. Thanks for being here. David says, thank you, Newsbringer, TJ. Hi, y'all. Hey, there's Aaron West. Hey, good to see Aaron. I'm glad you're here. Hope everything's okay. I know you've been probably busy with stuff, so good to see you. I don't know where Jolie is. I really should drop her a line. I haven't really. Yesterday I was gonna send her a little note and ask her how she's doing, and I haven't. I forgot to do it. So I hope Jolie's okay. But Aaron's here. Good to see Aaron. Roxanne Armfield here just came in here with the thumbs up. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We got 53 watching, only 43 thumbs up. So right now we are operating like a bunch of scumbag Republicans. Got a deficit. We got a deficit going. Let's at least get us up to a balanced budget, or dare I say, even maybe a surplus. Would be nice. Like the good Democrats that we are. AM says people understand that Jimmy Kimmel's speech was taken away from him. From all of us, Americans understand. Well, I do think that, and kind of some of the opening or the second clip, I think was showing a lot of right wingers or conservatives or whatever also showing concern about this. And I think this might be the one thing that where we have some overlap, or we have, where we kind of join hands with some people across the aisle that we would never think of joining hands with. This might be maybe this is the one issue, this violation of our First Amendment, this total overreach by the president. It might be, we might finally have some sort of common ground and be able to come together and defeat this bastard. Mark Krasner's here. This situation is not comedy anymore. Yeah, well, the sad thing is that it's the comics where we've seen, at least in America, where we actually get some truth out in the media. So much of the corporate media is just watered down, and then the propaganda machines like Fox News and Newsmax are total just right wing, propaganda machines. Christina Wow was here. Hey, Christina, good to see you. We got DP5844. Hello, DPD. Deputy Dog. Barney Thompson says, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel was canceled, but he said a mean thing about Trump, and Trump cried to the FCC. Yeah, it was all about what he said about Trump. Kimmel didn't say anything bad about Charlie Kirk, at least not to my knowledge. Catherine Real Hill Talk says, okay, if not fascist, how about rapists? How about thief? How about psycho, sadistic, pro-destruction liar? You know what? I'm not going to let Trump or any of these right wingers or Republicans make me afraid to call Donald Trump what he is, which is a convicted 34-time convicted felon and a sexual assaulter, where the judge said, for all intents and purposes, this was rape. And I'm not going to let them make me just forget about the Epstein files and not continue to demand that the Epstein files be released. Christina Weibel says, I'm sick of them lying to us. MAGA media released the Trumpstein files unredacted. Catherine Hilltalk says a Disney website crashed today. Invisible River Rant is here. Invisible River Rant says Disney went to the dark side. Karen Ames is here. Karen says her Hulu site crashed also. Hello there, Karen Ames. Good to see you. James Adamio says Disney can GGF. Go get fucked, I guess. Way too damn many subliminal messages anyway. Subliminal messages. Remember that? I remember I was in junior high, and I think one of my teachers made us read that book. There was a book called about subliminal messages. What class was that? I'm thinking it was Mr. God, what was his name? I'm forgetting people's names. I thought he was my English teacher. I don't know about, but I don't think my English teacher would make me read that. Maybe was it social studies? I don't know. But I remember we read subliminal messages in, like, I think it was 8th grade. And then so we're always looking, me and my cousin, because we both read the book. So whenever we would see a billboard with like ice cubes or something, we're always like, "Oh, I see the skeleton, or I see the baby, or I see the skull." I don't know why I said baby. I don't know if babies were involved in it, but there was always supposed to be like a skull or a skeleton or something hidden in the ice cubes in the liquor ads. I don't know why the liquor company would want to put images of death in their ice cubes. I mean, it seems that seems like that's what an anti-liquor campaign would do. But anyhow, so it never made sense to me. And I actually never really, I could never find the fucking skeletons. I think I just went along with it. Like, yeah, I see it. Yeah, there it is right there. Yes, that one ice cube on the left there. Yeah, there's a skeleton. He's looking right at me. The skull and crossbones right there. Yep, I see him. Yep. I don't know. Everyone said they could see him, but I don't think I ever really did. And of course, there was more to the thing. I think he showed us a film. I think there was also a film about it too. Luck Dragon was here, said something about Santa's community, blah, blah, blah. Santa's community. I don't even know what that means. Bonnie Thompson says, I'm in the fight of my life here. Cat is demanding food. Better feed that cat. Feed the cat. Gotta feed the kitty. DPD 5844 says, I applaud Colbert for calling out the bullshit. However, I was disappointed with Fallon talking about he didn't know what was going on. He knows exactly what's happening. He simply lacks courage. I watched about the first half of Fallon's, I guess it was on a clip. I didn't watch it live, but I guess I watched about the first half of his monologue, the one where he was like, I thought it was funny. And I thought he did good. He addressed the issue, and he did kind of like the thing, kind of what Jon Stewart was doing on the Daily Show, where he's like pretending to, I guess, capitulate or to Donald Trump or to appease him, but he's saying like, but his joke was the way Fallon did it was like, I'm not going to do that. I'll stand up to him, and then when he would supposedly be talking about the Epstein files, and then it was like, they just overdubbed like somebody else saying something else, So all this stuff that so it was like Fallon. It was supposed to be like Fallon was like, coming on, like hard against against Trump, but then they would just overdub all this other stuff that would be completely innocent or different. I thought that was kind of funny, and then I didn't watch the whole thing. I think I skipped because I'm kind of a channel surfer kind of guy, so I didn't watch the whole thing. But I thought that was good that Fallon did that. That was funny. I did see the Seth Meyers one. I saw Seth Meyers. I thought, and he did this kind of the same thing where it was like, you know, the gag, the running gag seems to be on. I didn't watch Colbert, but the running gag, it was kind of a continuing theme with Fallon and Seth Meyers, and even Jon Stewart in a way, like of not pissing off the king, and then of course they just show all these clips that just contradict that and show Trump in a very bad light. So I thought those were good. Catherine Real Talk says ICE protests in Chicago land getting nasty. Aaron West 1148. I'm about oh shoot, what am I? About 22 minutes behind, I guess, something like that. Catherine Real Talk, Fallon is a tool. No, I don't. Well, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't think he's a tool. Maybe he just doesn't get as political as the others, but I think he's. I've always thought he was really funny and very talented. But I don't, but I actually don't. I really don't watch these shows. Even SNL, which is a completely different thing, but I haven't sat down and watched an SNL in years. But I watch the clips. I watch the clips that come out, and I think they're hilarious, and most of the time. And I same way with all these late night shows. I'll watch whatever clips that I come across. I don't really sit and watch the shows. Marsha Jones is here. Marsha says, and this is a quote. Oh, I guess this is from George Washington. Says, if freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. End quote, George Washington. Hey, Bicycle Mike 42 is here. Hey, Bike Mike, good to see you. Trumpstein Files. Yeah, we need to keep hammering the Epstein files. Let's not let that go away. That's really what Trump, in all of this is what he really wants. He wants the Epstein files to go away, and we cannot let them go away. We need to be screaming Epstein files to the top of our lungs, from the top of the rooftops, until they release those goddamn things. Yeah, Catherine Royal Talk says, release unredacted Epstein abuse network files. That's a mouthful. I think I'm just going to go with release the Epstein files. No, but I get you. And then there's my Bicycle Mike again, Trumpstein files. Yeah, and then making the point that should be the focus. Trumpstein, Epstein, whatever. I know we want to say Trumpstein because we want to make sure that Trump is 100% attached to the issue. But yeah, we got to stay focused, Bicycle Mike. That's right. Stay focused on that. That should be the number one thing. Don't let all these other distractions pull us away from the Epstein files. Karen Ames, we canceled Disney Plus as well. We've got Lug Dragon and the Lucky Minutes in here. Could be one and the same. I don't even know. David Dog is back. Didn't know you left. I didn't even know you left, David Dog. Here's Mark Krasner. Hey, Mark Krasner, good to see you. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. Mark says, you didn't cancel Disney when they handed Trump $16 million for Stephanopoulos telling the truth? I didn't have Disney then. I already was out. Christina Weibel, no, he hasn't. I don't know. Marshall says he hasn't. What was that about? What was that something? Was that in response to something I said? He hasn't what? Oh, about Kimmel. Okay, that's probably about Kimmel. Okay. See, I have to go back and think, what did I say 20 minutes ago? That's probably in response to when I said I don't think Kimmel has said anything bad about Charlie Kirk, and you guys are backing me up on that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Karen Ames says Jimmy Kimmel just goes after Trump, but you wouldn't know it. I mean, by these fucking assholes like Josh Hawley and John Kennedy, and those other assholes are, they're implying that, but by their vagueness, they're implying that Kimmel was saying some really awful things about Charlie Kirk, and anyone would go, well, that's horrible. The guy just got murdered in front of his, because I think I heard that his wife and kids were there at the event in the background somewhere. I'm not sure if I heard wrong or if that was confirmed, but in any case, I mean, he was a young guy, had a young family, a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So yeah, if Kimmel was saying horrible things about Charlie Kirk, that would be, I think that would be pretty bad, especially for a late night talk show host who has millions of viewers and from all different ranges of political, right, left, in between, non-political, whatever. So they want to paint this picture that he said something really awful about this man, this young family man that just got murdered. And he didn't say that. Nothing could be further from the truth. He made fun of Trump. He didn't make fun of or celebrate or get happy about or say anything bad about Charlie Kirk's murder. But these fucking assholes, like I say, Josh Hawley and John Kennedy and whoever else, and even our guys, even like Tim Kaine, at least in the clip I saw, he acted like he didn't. I don't think he was implying anything about Kimmel, but he acted like he didn't even know the contents of what Kimmel said. It's like just shut your fucking mouth then. If I was one of those dudes, if I was a congressperson and they stuck a mic in front of me and asked me about that, and if I hadn't seen the clip or I didn't know what they were talking about, I would just say I haven't seen the clip. I'm not going to make a comment. I'm not going to comment on something I haven't seen. That's what I would have said. I can understand why the Republicans said what they said, because, like I said, they want to paint Jimmy Kimmel into this really bad light. I don't know why the Democrats said anything if they also didn't see the clip, because it looked to me like Tim Kaine hadn't even seen the fucking clip. And I hate the way he puts his glasses on his forehead. Do you know that we are living in the fucking television age, the video age, the image age? And now we're in the internet age where everything is instant and it goes all over the place. And do you know what a fucking dork you look like with your fucking glasses on top of your head like this all the time? You know how fucking stupid you look? Now I can do it because I'm just a stupid fucking old truck driver and I'm a stupid ass. I'm not a U.S. senator. Either put your glasses on your fucking nose and over your eyes like they're supposed to be, or if you don't, or take them off. You stupid motherfucker. You're so stupid. You got to get advice from me. No wonder Hillary lost. That was a terrible pick as a VP fucking choice. She should have picked Bernie. If Bernie would have taken it, I don't know. But I remember a lot of people, and I was one of them. I said, fucking Hillary, Bernie ticket would have fucking cruised. Because everybody I mean, they had so much support. She won the nomination. Bernie had so much support. I thought, well, just fucking have Bernie be your fucking running mate. But no, they have to get fucking Tim Kaine. Some dude I had never fucking even heard of. And now he doesn't apparently know how to fucking put his glasses away. How the hell are you going to be vice president? You can't put your glasses away. Anyhow. Luck Dragon says I'm on a mission today. Yep. Gonna have a good time. On the Sugar on live stream. Okay. Karen Ames says the Republicans are afraid of Trump. They need to stop being afraid. They really look. Trump's popularity is in the tank. I mean, it's going down the toilet. It's swirling down the toilet. Why are they still afraid of this motherfucker? He really isn't going to do shit. They're going to lose in the midterm congressional elections anyway, regardless of Trump and whatever popularity he still has. And he's a lame duck. He's not going to run again. And when he either dies or just, retires or whatever, MAG they're not going to support the next guy like they do him. They're not going to support J.D. Vance like they do Trump. Damon Dog says 90% of Kimmel's opening was about Epstein. Well, there you go. That's another thing, of course. That's the real reason that Trump wants to silence Jimmy Kimmel. Is because of he brings up Epstein files and then of course making fun of Trump. It has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk, but because they know the Charlie Kirk thing that's like a hot button emotional thing. The guy was just murdered, and anyone who makes fun of a murdered person has got to be awful. Anyone who makes fun of Trump or who wants to bring out the Epstein files, a lot of people are on board with that, even more and more Republicans. I'm skipping down a little bit in the chat here. AM says, remember, Trump assumed Mr. Kirk's killer was a radical left, and as usual, he was wrong, so wrong. Now, I think he was wrong, absolutely. And him and Nancy Mace and all of them, they just jumped out to this. I mean, Charlie Kirk's body wasn't even cold yet. It was still warm, and they came out and were blaming Trump, the radical lefts. Nancy Mace just said the Democrats. Remember, she just said it's the Democrats. She didn't even try to, code it with liberals. Whatever. She said it was the fucking Democrats. The Democrats didn't do this. The liberals didn't do this. We have a kid who was a messed up kid who was raised in a very conservative state with a conservative religion, with a conservative family that are all self-described MAGAs. Now the kid, the shooter, I call him a kid. He's 22 years old. He's an adult. Was raised in that. I don't think he even voted. They showed a registration card, I think, where he was just unaffiliated, not affiliated with any party. I don't know. Supposedly his romantic, the roommate that they say he has a romantic relationship with is a cisgendered male transitioning to a female. So that's what they're latching onto now. They're like, see, it was the trannies that got it. They are dangerous. See, the trannies are dangerous or whatever. My apologies for that. I guess you can't say tranny anymore. I can remember the day when you could say tranny. I can also remember a lot of things we can say and we can't say now. Things, we evolve, right? So, but they are grasping at straws. This isn't some left wing or liberal or cabal or anything like that. The guy was a groiper apparently, and I'd never heard of the term groiper until Charlie Kirk's death. But apparently, this is a whole thing with Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes uses the Pepe meme. There was a lot of some Pepe meme references, or this guy, the shooter's associated with. So I don't know. I think it's just turning out that this is this kid. I should stop calling him a kid because he's not a child. He's young. He's a young guy, still forming. I guess his brain. They say the brain doesn't fully form until it's 25, till you're 25. But the guy was raised by a bunch of gun-loving MAGA Republicans. So that's the culture he came from, and so that's who shot Charlie Kirk. A kid, a guy, a young man who was raised by a bunch of gun-loving, gun-toting Republicans. That's what we do know right now. Roxanne79 says Kimmel just showed Dinky's insensitive remarks. Yeah, and deflection at the ballroom. He said nothing except that Kirk was murdered. Yeah, he was very respectful in his tone about Kirk. The way I heard it. Invisible Ranch says another pissed transgender with a gun because Trump hates them. Well, if you look at these text messages, when a lot of people are questioning that, I even kind of think it's kind of weird, some of the wording. We talked about when he says "my love," that kind of stuff, and also apparently, so these text messages were going on as Tyler Robinson, the shooter, the alleged shooter. I guess I'm supposed to say alleged at this point. The alleged shooter was still there at the college at UVU. He was running around trying to evade capture, and he was trying to get back and get the gun because he left the gun in the bushes. And if you read the text messages, if these are right and correct, supposedly he wrote these things as he's trying to not get caught by the cops that are standing right there. He says, "I see a cop car, and the gun's there. I want to get back to the gun, but the cops, and he's typing out words like vehicle instead of just saying car or whatever, and as he is supposedly on the run, I think he was sitting in his car maybe, but I guess if he was sitting in his car and he felt like he was pretty much undetected where he was sitting, but I don't know, maybe he wasn't sitting in his car, maybe he was running around. But he was there and he was witnessing. He could see where the area where he dropped the gun, and he wanted to go back and get it, but the cops were over there. So that's what he's typing it out or texting it. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird that you're trying to evade capture, and you're trying to collect, the murder weapon, and you have time to write these kind of long responses or whatever. I'm not saying the kid didn't do it, the guy didn't do it, that Tyler didn't do it, but the text messages, they do seem to like button everything up very conveniently for the prosecution to make their case. It's like, see, he said this and he said this, and look, he's implicating this, and look, this is about his trans girlfriend. They really want to get that in there to make this a trans issue or something. David Dog says on October 14th, I will be getting ready for October 18th. No Kings. I will not be mourning a Nazi fuck. There you go, Damon Dog. I applaud you. No Kings on October 18th. Catherine Hill, Real Hill Talk. Apparently, Kimmel is being followed. Fuck, he better get security. I didn't hear about that. He certainly has enough money where he could have very good security detail around him at all times. MJ Daniel says, I believe Charlie Kirk. Hey, by the way, hello, MJ. Good to see you from up there in Washington State. MJ says, I believe Charlie Kirk would have been one of the first laughing at the mocking Kimmel and Colbert losing their shows. The Republicans have never cared. Boy, the chat's moving kind of fast now, and it's disappearing. Let's see here. Christina Weibel, vote with your dollars. Yeah. DPD 5844 says the orange asshole is set to allow Larry Ellison to purchase TikTok. I deactivated my TikTok account like 2 years ago. Marsha Jones, even Tucker Carlson thinks that what Trump's done is worth civil disobedience. Well, yeah, in the clip we even talked about that. Yeah. Look, Dragon, why would you ever? Why didn't I just already? Is this a glitch in the matrix? Aaron says Jolie's visiting friends out of state. That's right. That's right. She took that plane trip. It was a plane trip. Invisible River Ranch bet old man Disney is rolling in his grave. Gillespie thumbs up truckers. Hey, look at there. We are at a surplus now. 42 watching, 54 thumbs ups. Thank you guys so much. I like it better when we operate like good Democrats. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We are up at over 4,050 subscribers now, guys. We're moving right along. Let's keep it going. MJ Daniel says, in MAGA world, the U.S. Constitution, especially the First and Second Amendment, are for Republicans only. Join the party. Do as you are told or else. It's always been, it seems like, with these guys, these Republicans, free speech for me, but not for thee, They want their free speech, but they sure don't like it when you exercise your right. If it goes against, something that they believe in or whatever. They don't like anything. They don't want to hear anything that's contrary to what they believe. These Republicans are very intolerant. Marsha says, see you tomorrow. Hopefully I need to rest a lot. Yeah, Marsha, get some rest. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you get your rest, though. That's important. Eric Zimmerman's here. Hey, Eric. Thanks for coming on in. Eric says he called Dump the gift that keeps on giving. Was that Kimmel or who was that said that? Because Eric, I don't know if you know this, but I'm usually behind, like 20 or 30 minutes behind in the chat, and I sometimes don't remember exactly what we were talking about when you posted that. So I'm kind of assuming that you're talking about Kimmel, but not sure 100%. But it sounds appropriate. It could be just about anyone can say that. Anyhow, Karen Ames says Trump can't stand to be laughed about, and that's his thin skin. And that was, I think that might have been, was it Seth Meyers or which clip was it? Was it in one of my clips, or was it in the Seth Meyers thing where they We're using like plastic wrap to show his skin. MJ Daniel says, I like what George Carlin's daughter posted. When a king attacks, the court gestures, no one is safe. Something close to that, Yep. Karen Ames, Trump is in the Epstein files. Yeah, that's why we want them to be released. Absolutely. No matter what may come of it, like no matter even if Bill Clinton's name's in there or whoever, if there's people that are on our side that are in there, so what? We want them fucking released. Unredacted. I mean, if there are like some of the victims' names that I guess you could redact those, but we want the abusers' names in there, the rapists' names in there. We want those unredacted. MJ Daniel says DJT probably has the most entries in the Epstein files for sure. Hey, Music's here. Good to see Music. Thanks for coming on in. It says, hoping to catch the bus today, but I have my apprehension. Look, Dragon says, I ain't got fired from my trucking job. Or you did, because I'm reading the rest of it. It sounded like you did get fired. So did you or did you not get fired? Anyhow, for my trucking job, I had marijuana in my system, and I tried to explain to them that I only use it at night so I don't have night terrors, but I could not get them to believe. Probably because you don't know how to use a question mark, and they were just as confused as I am. No. Well, that's the thing about it. With trucking, that's why I never used anything with a CBD product or anything like that, just for fear of having. Because I was always subject, as you know, as a truck driver, you are subject to random drug tests, like anytime, anywhere, any place. And if you have THC or any drugs in your system at the time of the test, then you are subject to termination from that company. And if you're an independent, you are subject to a loss of your license. And it doesn't matter if you only smoke it on the weekends or not, and not smoking, but taking like medicinal things. I'm not a real expert on it, so I don't know exactly how the nomenclature. I know there's lots of CBD products people use for medicinally. There is medical marijuana that people use for various things, and it doesn't matter if you only take it. And this is not fair. I don't really agree with this, but even if you're very responsible and you don't take anything when you're driving or just before you're going to drive, maybe you just take it at night before you go to bed. Maybe you take some on the weekends or on your vacations or whatever. But then let's say you get hauled in for a drug test and it's in your system. It doesn't matter. They don't care. And that's not fair. And I don't think that's fair. But I don't know, what to tell you, because I don't think you should be under the influence of anything when you're driving, especially a big rig. So, so it's unfortunate, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to fix that problem. Karen Ames says we all need to show our free speech and keep talking about Trump being in the Epstein files. Time to release them. Yeah, that's not. We're not gonna let that issue get away. Invisible River Ranch says I had a ghost that was pissed at me. Eric Zimmerman, subliminal seduction. I never heard of that one. Um, Invisible River Ranch. They say other side is doing it as they do it too. I don't know what that means. Eric Zimmerman. Oh, I guess high school in '83 showed us that the subliminal messages movies and stuff. Yeah, mine was back. I was in about 10 years earlier in junior high. Uh, Blood Dragon says in my wedding vows, I specifically told my wife that Mary Jane will always come first. Wow, really? And she still married you? Blood Dragon says, by the way, no one in the church tried to stop my wedding. Apparently not. I don't know why you're asking me. Aaron West 1210. I'm 29 minutes behind you. Roxanne79 says I watch the late night monologue clips every morning. Hey, there's Sandy Foltz. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Sandy says, I'm getting my living room ready for my new furniture coming tomorrow. That's right. Sandy just ordered a bunch of really cool furniture. And congratulations on your Bills last night, Buffalo Bills. It was a pretty tough game. It was a tight game until the fourth quarter. And Buffalo, they stopped that Miami drive with the interception. And then, because I think it was tied then, and then Buffalo scored, and then I think it scored a touchdown and then a field goal. So they ended up winning by 10. But it was a pretty close game until about halfway through the fourth quarter. And then Buffalo just closed it out. So congrats on the Buffalo Bills on beating what for many years was my second favorite team, the Miami Dolphins. I really haven't followed them all that much for the last 20 years or so. But like back when I was a kid, growing up, my favorite team has always been the Rams. But my second favorite team was the Dolphins for a long time. And then I just sort of, fell away from it because, things happen. You go through life and things change, I guess. But I've still remained loyal to my Rams and my Dodgers. Look, Dragon says the only clips that I watch immediately are Seth Meyers. As soon as they come out, I get a notification. As far as everybody else, I either watch it live or watch it the next morning. Okay. Again, I don't know why you're asking me. You know better than I would. Invisible River Ranch, if Trump didn't do the stupid shit, we wouldn't talk about it. Yeah, Trump probably is his own worst enemy. I mean, he's doing all kinds of shit, trying to do everything he can to get us to avoid like the Epstein files, and I think it just makes us think about the Epstein files even that much more. I think you have that could be a good point. You might be onto something there. Mark Krauser says mine about canceling Disney for handing Trump $60 million was a general statement, not to you, Trucker John. All righty then. Well, all righty. All righty then. MJ Daniel says the Republican voters do not seem to think the Trumpenstein monster that they created will not turn on them next. They are adorable. Yeah, they're finding out. They're finding out. Yeah, Michelle, they are not saving Medicare with this big, beautiful bill. The cuts to Medicare are set to go into effect after the midterm congressional elections of 2026. Catherine Real Health Talk says Kimmel is a really nice guy. He's Catholic and his religion is very important to him. He sent condolences to the family on the day of the murder, but his jokes are always focused toward Agent Orange. Marsha Jones says Kilmeade said the homeless should be killed, and he's still on there. Yep, we've pointed that out. The double standards are just crazy off the hook. Double standards. Catherine Real Health Talk says Republicans won't watch clips on purpose and will just make shit up. Mark Krasner says, I don't trust any politician that takes money from AIPAC. I don't think we should trust any politician, even the ones we like. Not fully, not unconditionally, not 100%. I think we should take everything with sort of a grain of salt and try to check out things. And, you know. There's Jolie. Hey, Jolie, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good time visiting, and nice of you to pop on in. And everyone's missing you here in the chat, so glad to see you popping in here. Mad Matt, Slava Ukraini. Hey, Mad Matt, right back at you. Look, Dragon released the files. Mark Krasner, Schumer is annoying with the glasses. Well, yeah, but at least, okay, I don't know if those are reading glasses, so yeah, he has them at the end of his nose. It's kind of like what I'm doing a lot. You know, so he's always like this, and he can't do anything without reading, and you know, a lot of these guys, I'm finding out that Donald Trump isn't the only one that sounds like a third grader when they read. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to. Could they, when they went to college, they're all college educated. Couldn't they have taken some sort of a media course or some sort of a, you know, talking in front of the camera course or something? Some of them are just horrible at it. Even I was watching some of those the clips from the Senate hearings, or with, I guess it was with Kash Patel, and it was like what was his name? Democrat. He's a Democrat, a good Democrat. can't remember his name. It starts with a D, I think. And it sounded like so weak the way he was talking. He was like, Mr. Patel. Don't they know the image is every? That's why I was getting on with Tim Kaine. Like, image is every fucking thing, you know? Project, man. That's why Joe Biden looks so bad. Now, he was sick during that debate. You know, he was old, but he was sick, and that's why he looked so bad, because he couldn't project. And he was like, and then his mouth his jaw would drop. You can't do that shit, man. You got to be aware of the camera and how you look and how you sound. If you're, a politician, it's not just all behind closed doors, man. You guys are out in the cameras now. You got to project, man. You got to project strength, confidence. None of this mealy mouth, like, you can't be mealy mouthed and weak and raspy, or like, like, you can be raspy, but you can't talk in a low, quiet voice. You got to have some projection, man. Put a little bass in it, Don't they realize it? Yeah, Sandy Fold says the Bills beat the Dolphins 31-21. Yeah, I watched that. I watched the game. MJ Daniels says there were plenty of better choices for Hillary for VP, but Democrats never seem to learn. Looking at you, Al Gore, John Kerry. Yeah. I thought Tim Walz was a good choice for Kamala Harris. I thought he turned out to be a really good choice, but then people might say, well, they lost, so maybe it wasn't such a good choice, but Mark Krasner says Trump's minus 18 net approval is the second lowest recorded by the YouGov Economist weekly poll from either of his two terms. Yeah, Trump is sinking, man. His approval rating is sinking. Invisible River Ranch, glasses on head are like socks on slippers. Or like socks and slippers. Or socks and sandals. If you're at home wearing and for one thing, you should not be wearing your slippers anywhere but inside your home, okay? And so if you're wearing socks with your slippers inside your home, I don't really give a fuck. But if you're out in public and you're wearing sandals with socks, then I'm sorry, but I'm going to think bad things about you. I might not say anything. I might be nice and not say anything, but I'm definitely thinking what a dork you look like. So either don't wear socks or don't wear sandals. Make up your mind. Dick Durbin was the guy I was trying to think of. Who just sounded so weak, and even though everything he said was fine and was, he was, but I guess he wasn't going to outshout Patel, and I think that's a mistake. You know me, I'm a shouter. I'll shout. I'll shout your ass down. I could outshout Patel any fucking day of the week. I can get a really fucking mean, mad voice. And believe me, you guys, whatever you've seen on this show me do is just a fucking tip of the iceberg. I could fucking shout that motherfucker. And I know you don't want to come across like a madman either. That's not a good image either. So I might be more in, if I were a senator or a House rep, I would be more in danger of coming across like some unhinged lunatic, which is probably just as bad. But I'm certainly not going to be the weak little mealy mouthed. I'm going to fucking project, man. Catherine Real Health Talk says the first thing the Utah governor said about Kirk's murderer's roommate was that he was trans. Yeah, they wanted to get that. They definitely wanted that out in the front there. Just to get some part of what they were already pushing, as the motivation. But looking at those text messages, if those are true and accurate, it does seem like this shooter hated Charlie Kirk because of what he said, the hateful things that Charlie Kirk said about trans folks and gay folks in general, and trans people specifically. And because I think in those text messages, I think the shooter says something about, Robinson says something about, Kirk is just gone on too much with the hate. He's been allowed to hate too long, or to put his hate out there, or something like that. So he definitely didn't like what Kirk was saying, and felt that he had the right, because he was saying, not that that he was saying hateful, that Kirk was saying hateful things, and so the shooter thought that he had the right to take him out for it. I don't agree with him. Like I said, on the very day that this happened, that the shooting happened, and we were doing this show at the time, I said, this is horrible. I said, this is horrible. This is bad. I'm no Charlie Kirk fan, but I said right from the get-go, this is not good, people. This is not good. This is not the way to go. This is not how we do things. Mad Max says he didn't diss Kirk, though. He showed what the orange pedo. Yeah, I've already gone over that. Orange pedo said when he was asked how it's holding up. Yeah, we covered that. Marsha, he was raised by two Mormon MAGA. No wonder the kid was lost. Well, the whole family, the whole town. He's from St. George. I've been there. I've been in the state. And I've been in St. George. It's all Mormon. It's all, and they're all MAGAs. They're all Republicans. They're all gun nuts. Music says all available evidence now points to the kid being a leftist. I disagree with that. I haven't seen any evidence pointing out that he's anything. If anything, he's not. He was unaffiliated. He wasn't a Democrat and he wasn't a Republican. And there are some other text messages that were, I think, prior to the shooting, just of him and talking to his friends in Discord and in, I think, maybe other gaming channels, and he seemed to be pretty, politics didn't really come up prior to the shooting. Then after the shooting, there's some messages where he was like, "Hey guys," like he was trying to play it off as a joke, like, "Oh, this guy really looks like me," or it's like my doppelganger. But that was after the shooting. I don't think there's really anything that shows one way or the other if he's left or right. I think it really just shows that he hated Charlie Kirk for his hateful things that he said about trans and gay people. Now, people, you can extrapolate out of that maybe, but I don't know if that's evidence that he's a leftist. I think it's evidence that he had a trans romantic partner and he felt very offended by Kirk's statements about trans people. I think we got that. I don't know if we can say he was left or right at all at this point. But we do know he was raised by MAGA Republicans in a gun culture. Music says, Groyper influence or not, the kid was left. He was one of us. I don't know what you're basing that on, other than you're just trying to be a contrarian or something. Not a contrarian, but we don't know. I don't think at this point we know what he was. Paul Burrows, I have a tranny in my truck. Yeah, I know. I used to talk about transmissions as being trannies. Can I call my transmission a tranny? I've done that a few times in recent years and gotten an arched eyebrow. Michelle says, hello, Trucker John. How are you today? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, Michelle. How are you doing, Michelle? Hope you're doing well. Music says, it isn't comforting, but the guy... Okay, you know what? Look, you don't need to say it 5 times. I've already read 3 of your posts already saying that you think he's one of us. Don't spam my chat over and over again. Okay, well, I've already read you. I've already read it. You think he's one of us? Okay, you made your point. I don't like beating a dead horse. I've already responded to it by saying I don't think we have the evidence one way or the other where he was at. We do know his background. We do know he was raised by Republicans in a very conservative state. We do know that he was unaffiliated. He wasn't registered as a Democrat or a Republican. Those are the things that we do know. And I'm not going to, if you keep posting the same thing over and over again, I will put you on a timeout. Marshall Jones says he wasn't registered on any poll. We don't know what his ideology was. He certainly wasn't the hardcore leftist or Democrat that the Republicans wanted him to be. DPD 5844 says, I think people are delusional if they think Trump is going anywhere. Oh, see, the chat disappeared. Sorry about that. Someone said he didn't like Charlie because he was a groyper. I don't know if we even know for sure if he was a groyper. Although the terminology on the bullets, some people are saying that's from groyper. Some of that was groyper. Roger Rogers says Tim Kaine is not why Hillary lost. But I know, I was just, you know me, I just shoot shit. I just sometimes just spew shit out. But some of the stuff on the bullets was, some people say it was groyper stuff. Some people say some of it was from some of the video games that they were playing. It's like right out of video games. So there's a mixture there of stuff. I don't know if we know for sure that he was a groyper, but we knew that the groyper thing is linked to Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes is not leftist. Nick Fuentes is MAGA and right wing. So there's just a lot of stuff right now that we're putting together. We're still putting together. It's all going to come out in the trial. There's going to be a trial. And we'll find out. I think we'll find out exactly what he is or was at the time. Yeah, the Socrates says he didn't vote either party last election. Yeah. Karen Ames, will we ever find out for sure? I don't know, but like I said, there will be a trial. Now he's probably not going to testify in his own defense. They usually don't, right? But I don't know. I think all this shit will come out. They will lay it all out. The prosecution and the defense will lay everything out there. Roxanne79 says, my dad raised me as a Democrat. When he passed is when I realized my mom was I guess I'll just say Republican. I think it's because she doesn't care about the masses. She sees them as a burden on her finances. Heartbreaking. AM says, TJ, were you able to see? Yeah, yeah. I know I'm really behind in the chat, and I already talked about the game. Mr. Spock, it's bogus text. It was leaked on purpose. Well, if they're bogus and they enter those into evidence at the trial, then the trial will be it'll be a very quick trial, and Tyler Robinson will be acquitted. So they better damn well, whatever they enter into evidence, it better stand up to scrutiny of the defense and of the court. Or like I said, it'll be a very short trial, and the guy will walk. At least that's my opinion. And I'm not a lawyer, so. Well, Gillespie, 18 October, don't buy anything. That's the No President's Day of Resistance. I don't know, whatever they were calling it. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Thunder. I know. I put the mic over by the window. I don't think you can hear it, but there's thunder outside. We got thunderstorms a brewing outside. Aaron West, I never had TikTok. Catherine Real Talk says, tear gassed at ICE protest in Chicagoland. Political candidate also knocked to the ground. Wow. Yeah, you're right. It is getting pretty crazy over there. It is getting crazy. Be careful, folks. Karen Ames says TikTok will become like Twitter, full of radical right-wing propaganda. I never really liked TikTok. I had it for account for a while, and it seemed like it was just all full of spammers and scammers. Spammers and scammers. Hey, Jen of the Base is here. Good to see Jen of the Base. Thanks for coming on in. I appreciate you coming by and saying hey. Thanks for coming by and saying hey. I'm kind of skipping down, guys. I'm not reading all the chats. I'm way behind, and just kind of going through some of them. And then some of them, it's kind of mid-thread. It's hard to really just jump in. So just seeing if there's something I can pull out of the chat here and make a comment on. But in any case, welcome to the Trucker John channel. I believe I believe I am the everyman. I am the everyman who dumbs it down for everybody. So welcome. Pinball Addict is here. Pinball Addict says the mega cult minions lost their minds over a piece of shit like Charlie Kirk. They keep posting stuff. I mean, I'm judging by my family members. They keep posting stuff about Charlie Kirk just in the greatest light. You know, he was just a man of God, a lover of Jesus. That's that's all they talk about. They don't talk about any of the awful things that he said, just that he was a great man of Jesus. And I even had one person in my Facebook who was a friend, an old schoolmate, who was like, he's like, I'm very hopeful that at the Charlie Kirk funeral, that this will help lead like thousands of people to Christ or something like that, you know. And I didn't comment. I guess I'm done commenting on these assholes. You know, I just so I just let it go. But I was just kind of like rolling my eyes, like, oh Jesus Christ. Damon Dog, the big dog, says today is shrimp ramen. Hope I don't glow in the dark. Yeah, Damon Dog has always got that ramen going. DPD 5844 says there was a piece of legislation in the CR, continuing resolution, that would have given the Secretary of State explicit authority to seize anyone's passport who had criticized the Nazi fascist white nationalist regime of pedo. Did they take it out? Because you used past tense. You said there was a piece of legislation. I'm hoping they took that out. DPD 54 says it was discarded. I wonder why. Yeah, so hopefully that is not in there. It's almost like they put that in there, and they're like, maybe it'll get through. Jen at the base of Trigger John TJ, all of the pot talk is triggering. I haven't gotten high in a good 10 minutes, which means you're high. I want to get high, high, high in the midday sun. How's that song go? Was that Paul McCartney? Wings? I want to get high, high, high. I'm just trying to scroll back. I thought I missed something. I don't know. I think I missed something, but I don't know. Thomas Walker's here. Hey, Thomas Walker, good to see you. Thanks for coming on into the old Driver's Lounge, hanging out with us for a little bit. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. We can get more folks in here. I always think the more the merrier. The more people we have in the chat, the more different subjects we can go off on, you know. So, music is getting the bus. Good luck on the bus. I know I take the bus to work sometimes and it sucks. A 20-minute car ride is a 2-hour bus ride, and I hate it. Fucking hate it. Michelle says, Trucker John, we watched Moana this morning. It's such a good movie. That's the one, yeah. I saw that movie when it came out. That's one where The Rock is in it, right? He's the one voice. And it's like Hawaii or whatever. I remember it was a good movie. I remember seeing it. I think my daughter was pretty young then. Like still, I think maybe junior high age or something, maybe. And so we went and saw it, and yeah, it was good. I think it was a good family evening at the movies. I don't think I've seen it since. I think we bought it. We always would buy the DVD of it, and I think so the kids could watch it again. But I don't remember watching it after that. But I remember it was good. Good stories, good singing, and all that stuff. Richard's here, our expat from down under. Says O.J. Simpson used to play for the Buffalo Bills. Yes. The majority of his career, and the prime of his career was with the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely, Richard. And then I think he got injured. And ended up going to the Niners. I think he played a year there, or something. I think that was it. Maybe a year or two there, and then he called it quits. He was never the same after that injury. And at the time, I didn't know that he was going to be a murderer. So I really liked OJ. Richard said the Dodgers had Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale. Yep, absolutely. And my man, I should have put my Kershaw jersey on today. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that for the next show because Kershaw announced his retirement after the end of this season. After 18, this is I think his 18th season, future Hall of Famer. So in 5 years from now, we'll be seeing him being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Great career. He's reinvented himself as he's gotten older, and he's gotten going through injuries and age, and not having the 100-mile-an-hour fastball that he once had, and in high 90s, consistently high 90s. Learning how to pitch and pitch effectively, mixing up his pitches and getting good, breaking balls and change ups and things, and still able to strike guys out. He made it to the 3,000 strikeout club this season. And I was wondering how long he was going to go. I was trying to think if he was trying to get to the 300 win season. I think he's pretty. I forget what he has. He's like 250 something. And I was trying to think, he would have to pitch at the rate he's going. Like this year, I think he's. Does he have 9 or 10 wins this year? So that would be pretty hard. To try to get to 300, but he's going to call it quits. Great pitcher, and I know before I even get down to it, to where Jen is going to make some snide remark about how he wasn't a good pitcher in the postseason. Doesn't matter. He's a great pitcher. I mean, it doesn't matter as far as his legacy, his overall. I mean, yeah, during the time, we wish we want our players to play well in the postseason, but it matters then, but it doesn't matter now. And the overall legacy, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be looked at as he's going to be up there with Drysdale and Koufax and Fernando, and as all-time Dodger greats, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame just like those guys are. And certainly one of my favorite players over the years. And hopefully, the Dodgers are going to be in the postseason this year, and he's going to pitch. So hopefully he'll, hopefully he does well in the postseason. But it's definitely a great pitcher, regardless. He's an all-time great, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame in 5 years from now. J. Daniel, I like Chuck Knox once he came to Seattle. I love Chuck Knox when the Rams years. I mean, that was a decade of just hard-nosed, smash mouth football, man. The Chuck Knox years. Kristen, while I don't really care for football, I used to be a NASCAR fan until Daytona. Dinky. Until Daytona, what What does Daytona mean? What did Daytona do that made you not watch NASCAR anymore? I guess it's something I missed. I guess they paid tribute to Dinky or something. I don't know. Damon Dog, finished my late lunch, took my pills, time for dessert. MJ Daniel says, Sandy Fo says it's Trevor, not Tyler. No, it's Tyler. It's Tyler. MJ Daniel says, my hometown voted in some regulations about roads in the local watershed. The administration is talking about reversing because the big lumber money is more important, and most of them voted DJT. Jorgen Johansson is here. Hey, Jorgen. Thanks for coming in. I do appreciate you coming into the old driver's lounge. Jorgen says politicians equal same shit, different assholes. Well, the thing about it, though, we can talk shit about politicians, but we need them. We need politicians, whether you like it or not. If we're going to run governments and have governments, and we're going to have political offices to hold, and people need to hold those political offices, we're going to need politicians to fill those seats, like it or not. And you can run as a non-politician, like Donald Trump tries to do, but guess what, dude? You're a two-time president. You are a politician, Donald Trump, whether you like it or not. So we can talk shit all we want about politicians. I think it's raining outside. I can hear the rain. It's raining. But we need politicians to fill the offices of the political offices. That's why they're called politicians. They hold office. They hold political office. The key is to try to get the best ones that we can in there. That are, that's the idea, I think. MJ Daniel says this is social media, reality TV generation. The politicians need some sort of presence, even a one like DJT. Ooh, it's raining good outside now. Yeah, Richard said expat American watching from Australia, 5:54 a.m. Catherine Hilltalk says Dick Durbin's a pussy. Hated him for years. Hey, there's Bear for Bear Love. Let's see. Bear for Bear Love says I lost all respect for Dallas when Landry was treated like crap by Jerry Jones. Gin up the base says Struggle John, you can shout out anyone, TJ. I've been on the receiving end. I haven't shouted at you of your unwarranted shouting attacks to my posts that aren't even all caps. Sarcasm, please don't yell at me. I've looked at the tapes. I've gone back. I don't yell at you. I think you're a little thin-skinned, and so you think you're being yelled at, or you're a little sensitive, so you think you're being yelled at. I've not yelled at you. You might even think what I'm doing right now is yelling at you. This is not yelling. Damon Dog, I always wear socks no matter the shoe, sandal. Diabetics have to give extra care to their feet, plus my toes are ugly. Okay. And don't take it to heart. Just know, though, if I see you walking around with sandals and socks, I'm going to be thinking you look like a dork. But that doesn't mean that you don't wear them because, your issues, Anyhow, Aaron West reminds everyone Chuck John has channel memberships and super chats. Yes, we do. We have the super chats. We're 0 for 5 on our goal today. But we have channel memberships, and they start as low as $1.99 a month, which I think is a good deal. You can also support the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing, or you can buy me a coffee at the coffee link there. And but yeah, so that's a good reminder there. Keep the show, help keep us going. I do appreciate whatever support I can get. I really do. Help keep this show going. Roger Dodger says, what's your wardrobe advice from John Fetterman, TJ? I don't have any advice for him. I don't really care what he wears, actually. I just care how he votes. And I believe that he votes along with Democrats probably 98% of the time, okay? That's what's important to me. Aaron West, I love Keanu Reeves. I don't know. Oh, Damon Duck says I was born on the same exact day as Keanu Reeves. Richard says the Mormons are all very patriotic. Are they, though? They will be more loyal to their church. They put church over country. I guess that doesn't mean they're not patriotic. I guess you can still be patriotic, but just know that they're going to put church over country. Their church, not Christianity or religion, and they're going to put the Mormon Church, the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Church is first and foremost in all that they do. Hey, One Vision's here. Good to see One Vision. Says I'll have spam, baked beans and spam. DBD 5844 says, TJ, do you realize that you can't trust a word the Nazi fascist white national regime of pedophiles says? They will bend the narrative to their benefit. It would not shock me if he has an accident. You're talking about Robinson, I guess. That's been brought up too. Just like Epstein died under Trump's care or under Trump's, administration, and very conveniently died, convenient to Trump. But we'll see. We'll see. Jizzface Maxwell is still very much alive. They didn't kill her. Not yet, anyhow. Jolie, member for 19 months. Happy birthday, Michael McAndrews. Oh, is it Michael's birthday? Did I miss it? Did I miss something about Michael's birthday? I must have skipped right over it. Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Michael. Yippee, Michael. You get a yippee just for being your birthday. Thank you so much for being here and on your birthday. So happy birthday to Michael. Yay. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Michael McAndrews. Happy birthday to you. All right. Happy birthday, Michael. I'll give you a piece of virtual driver's lounge cake. It's only been sitting out for 5 hours. James Adamino, got to get some Z's before work. Take care. All right, James, thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. And I know we are over 2 hours running. I don't know if What's-His-Face is on, Boston Brian. He seems to be on every hour of every day. A lot of people may have already gone over there. Maybe he's not on today. I guess he's not on. I don't know. Wow, Japan had an earthquake. Just looking at the news feed real quick. Japan had an earthquake disaster. Two skyscrapers collapsed. There's the Kilauea volcano watch in Hawaii. That's going on. I guess Trump was going to sign some executive orders. That is going on, I guess. Kash Patel is on. They're still doing some hearings.
We flew multiple FBI assets in and out to process DNA simultaneously while bringing in evidence response technicians, hostage rescue teams, and other experts to assist state and local law enforcement with their investigation. At 8 p.m. local on September 1,
What everybody's talking about.
FBI collected and populated and promulgated at a press conference a video of the suspect on the ground. We also released enhanced images. Due to that release that I directed and ordered,
I guess he's talking about Charlie Kirk murder.
Apprehended and in custody at 10 p.m. local time. That's less than 2 hours after we did the video release and the photo release.
So he's trying to say all the great work that they did in the solving or capturing the Charlie Kirk murderer. Good for you, Cash. Good for you. There was in real time, we know there was a bunch of fuck ups where they're like, we've got the guy, we don't have the guy. So then people are thinking, oh, it's safe, they got the guy. Oh wait, we don't have the guy. So whatever. No kings, Christina Weil, no kings. Yep, we're gonna have some no king demonstrations, marches, peaceful protests on October 18th. Christina Weibel says ICE is shooting up homeless encampments. That's pretty awful. Richard says, what is the letter V on your cap for, Trucker John? V for victory. No, V for Vegas, actually. I think it's just for Vegas. This is a Vegas Golden Knights cap. And the Golden Knights are the hockey team, the National Hockey League team here in Vegas. They won the Stanley Cup just, I think, 2 seasons ago. I am skipping down, guys. Michael McAndrews, member for 18 months. Thank you, Michael, for being a member for 18 glorious, lovely months. Another yippee going out to the birthday boy, Michael McAndrews. Thank you so much for being a member. I do appreciate you. Guys, membership start as low as $1.99 a month if you want to be a member. And you get to use like cool truck emojis. Trucker emojis. Is that what we're calling them? Trucker emojis? We got trucker emojis. Truck emojis. Trucker emojis. That's one of the benefits of being a member. I don't think anyone can get those. I think those are members only. Trucker emojis. Think about it. Think about it, guys. Michael McAndrews, Nazis don't like trans people. Thomas Walker, what is a AI doomer? Maybe someone who thinks that AI is going to be the cause of the end of the world or something, maybe? I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Richard said Gavin Newsom would make a good POTUS. I think so. There's a lot of people that don't think that, even on our side, even on the Democratic side of the aisle. There's a lot of Gavin Newsom naysayers, but I personally think that Gavin Newsom would be a great president. I think he would be every bit as effective as Joe Biden, if not more so, just simply by the virtue of the fact of his age and that he's still in his prime, as a political person. He's not in his prime as a football player or as an athlete, but he's definitely in his prime, in his political prime. Being in your 50s, I think is a great time, a great age to be in politics and especially high office like that. And I think he would be a great president. But that's not universal. There's a lot of people in this chat right now, I guarantee you, in this chat right now, who don't like Gavin Newsom, and who are Democrats. Let's see here. Christina Weibel says, as far as I'm concerned, I will be doing a media blackout October 14th. Okay. And I'm skipping down a little bit there. Oh, Michael McAndrews, I see your $10 super chat. He says, thanks, John. No, thank you, Michael. Yippee to Michael, the birthday boy. There's a thumbs up and a heart for you. Thank you, Michael. On your birthday, you're giving me a present. I do appreciate you, as always, Michael. Big supporter of the show, and I always appreciate it. And I appreciate every one of you watching and liking, subscribing, giving me those thumbs ups. I appreciate all of that. I got to tell you, I mean, when I first started doing this, I never thought I was going to have over 4,000 subscribers. I didn't. You know, I had just a few people that came in here and watched the show. I think I might have had altogether, I might have had 100 subscribers or something, maybe. I think I had 100 because I've been on this channel. I've had this channel since, I don't know, 2008, like when YouTube kind of first started, and I was just using it just to post videos for my family and just for my family to watch, like family videos and shit. I thought it was a good place, like if I was on the road and I wanted to post something that I had to show my kids or something, you know, then they would watch it. They never did anyhow. And I was looking at my playlist. I have a playlist. I think it's just called Trucker John Livestream playlist. Because I was wondering how many episodes of this that I've done. And I was thinking it's got to be in the hundreds. And on that playlist, I think there's over 650 or something videos that are in the Trucker John live stream, but not all of those are like this Trucker John live stream. Because I used to do stuff called I just did like a daily vlog or it was just called Trucker's Vlog. So I was doing vlogging. Some of those are in this playlist that maybe shouldn't be. I don't know, but there's a lot of videos in there of it predates the Trucker John live stream. So I don't know how many actual like Trucker John live streams I've done, like under like this kind of a format that I'm doing. But I do these almost every day. I mean, it's got to be in the hundreds because I was thinking about, like, I wonder if I should do something special like on the 1,000th episode or something. But I don't even know how many episodes I've done, and I don't know if I want to sit there and count them. You know, like how many Trucker John live streams that I've done, but it's got to be in the hundreds. I mean, you know, if there's 365 days a year, I probably do at least 300 shows a year, I bet. And I've been doing this for like 2 or 3 years. So if I've been doing this for 3 years, which I'm not even sure, I always have this conversation. Sometimes I come up with this where I'm trying to remember like the anniversary date or how long I've been doing it. But this actual like Trucker John live stream is probably close to 3 years. So that might be 900 shows. I might be getting close to a 1,000th episode. And I guess the only way I would know or be able to do it is I would have to go into my into that playlist and then just count the ones that say they're actually like Trucker John live stream, not the truckers vlogs, not the little lives I would do like the impromptus and stuff, but just the Trucker John live streams. If I went and counted, I would have to go and like count those all individually, and that sounds really kind of boring and monotonous. So I don't know if I'll ever get a number, a true number or not. Yeah, what Aaron West says it's 1:31, so I'm 7 minutes behind. Actually, it's it's 1:38. Yeah, I've been going over 2 hours now, so I probably should end the show here pretty quickly. One Vision says you need to make a truck nuts emoji because dangle those bad boys, huh? Damon Dog says I might get all the Halloween shorts finished today. I might do character pieces next, starting with Stewie and Brian. That sounds pretty cool. you guys check out Damon Dogg's channel. He's making these glass pipes, I guess, and they're really cool looking. He's got videos of the pipes, and they're really cool. Steven Sayers says, "Isn't Newsom pretty much a corporate Democrat politician?" I don't think so. I mean, what's your definition of corporate? He takes corporate campaign financing. They all do, except for maybe AOC and Bernie. I mean, I don't know. You call them what you want. I'm going by the things that I hear him talk about. The ideology, if it aligns with mine, with my political ideology, then I guess I'll like somebody. And if I trust them, that they're not just blowing smoke up my ass. There's a lot of maggots that trusted Trump, and he was just lying through their teeth. So I guess you got to be careful of just taking people's words. But I think Gavin Newsom, I think he's done a pretty good job as governor, in at least economically. And a lot of people, they don't like how he handles, I guess, homeless population or whatever, which is a really tough, tricky situation. And I would want of course, I would, if he was going to run, which I think he is, I would want to, let's let the primary process play itself out. They're going to have debates. The candidates, there's probably going to be, 8, 9, 10, 11 major kind of candidates, and they're going to debate, and they're going to campaign, and then we're going to have primaries. And within the first 2 or 3 primaries, a bunch of them are going to drop out because they're not going to do very well, and then it'll winnow itself down, and then we'll see. And I have a feeling it might come down to the top 3 or 4. It might be Newsom, it might be Buttigieg, it might be John Ossoff, there might be I don't know, Andy Beshears or some shit like that. I don't know. I mean, there might be 3 or 4 that are going to rise to the top. Maybe Pritzker. I don't know if he's going to run. Notice I didn't mention any women in there. I don't know who are going to be the top women. Klobuchar again, or I don't think Harris is ever going to run again. AOC, is she ready to go? I love AOC. I just don't think, I think we're all a little gun shy about, and I know the women in here are going to hate me for saying this, but I'm a little gun shy of putting a woman up right now. God, I hate that I just said that, because I love AOC and I would vote for her in a fucking heartbeat. But as I'm finding out, apparently I'm not the typical even Democrat. I voted for Elizabeth Warren, for God's sakes, in the primary last time. So I voted for Hillary. I voted for Kamala. I have no problem voting for women, especially if I think they're good and qualified. And I think all those women that I voted for are very good and very qualified. But apparently, there's enough people in this country, even who proclaim or claim to be liberal Democrats, that don't agree with that. And I don't get that. I don't know how you could be a liberal and not think that a woman could be a good choice for president. That a woman, not to think that a woman can't run the country, hold the office. But anyhow, if he's a corporate Democrat, I don't even know what that means. I don't even really care about that. What I care about is their record and how they've run things. If I felt like Newsom was just a shill or a corporate lackey, or was being influenced by those campaign funds, then I wouldn't be supporting him. But they all take money. They have to. Until we get real, legitimate campaign finance reform, and we go to, I think, a public financing, then they're going to have to take money. I do know that AOC and Bernie claim to only take small donations more grassroots stuff, but I think they have super PACs too. So I don't know. One Vision, well, Trucker John caught up with the chat. The only reason I caught up with it is because I skipped a lot of it. I had to skip over a lot of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be. But now in my talking, I'm not. Well, I guess I am kind of now. David Windler, straight white male. But anyhow, like I said, the process will play itself out, and we will get a nominee. And I think that we usually get pretty good ones. At least, I think going back to Clinton, I think we've had pretty good nominees. I know there was, because Dukakis was before Clinton, and he was kind of horrible. Talk about image problems. You know, I think Gore was good. John Kerry. See, John Kerry was the guy that I agreed with him politically. He's another one of those ones. I agreed with his politics probably 98% of the time, or whatever, 95% or whatever it would be. Maybe, I don't know. But I didn't like the way he talked. And I think that's a big deal. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm the dick. But I could never listen to a John Kerry speech without feeling like I was going to fall asleep. The guy was one of those guys that was boring as fuck. Like fucking Schumer and like these other guys. Boring as fuck. And you're and that's, the reason Bill Clinton won, I think, is because of his personality, and he was charming and witty, and you could listen to the guy. Same with Obama. That shit goes a long way. Gore wasn't that great, but he did win. I mean, Gore was okay, but between Clinton and Kerry, you had Gore, and Gore was like he wasn't bad. Not everyone could be a Bill Clinton or a Barack Obama. But Kerry was awful in his delivery. The things he said, I agreed with. His political stance, his political policies, his ideology, I was right there with most of it that I can remember. I say most of it because I don't remember all of it. And someone might say, well, what about this thing? And I'm like, oh, well, I forgot about that. But I'm sure that I agreed with probably 90% of whatever his policies were, if not more. But he just came across as boring as fuck. You can't be boring, people. You can't if you're going to run for president. That's why fucking Trump wins and gets, because he's not boring. Now, we're sick of him, and I think he's disgusting and awful. And he was getting pretty boring during the 2024 campaign, because he was just repeating the same shit over. It was just a broken record. But still, he still won. But you got to admit that he's not boring like a John Kerry. John Kerry's boring as fuck. God damn, he's boring. Barack Obama, to me, he wasn't like Bill Clinton. Like Bill Clinton was, like I say, witty and charming and all that kind of shit. Obama just brought out, like, I don't know, man. Barack Obama brought me to tears, man. Like tears of joy and pride, and he just made you just want to like run through walls for the guy. At least for me, I don't know. Jolie says, just checked your live stream history, Trucker John. It's been 3 years approximately. June of 2022, you started this format for your show. I rolled in a couple of weeks later. So June of 2022. Yeah, so 3 years, a little over 3 years that we've been doing this Trugger John live stream format. And so I wonder how many shows that is. How many? Because for a while I was only doing like 2 shows a week, actually. So it wouldn't be 300 a year. But I've been doing this kind of schedule now where I'm doing like 7 days or 6 days a week. I've been doing this for quite a while now, for 6 or 7 months. So I don't know. I wonder how many I've got. How many I've got? A few hundred, probably. A few hundred episodes. But thanks, Jolie. Yeah, I always forget about those kind of anniversary dates and stuff. But Jorgen Johansson says, as long as women can't decide themselves if they want an abortion, you will never get a female president. Sadly, because I think world's most dangerous drug is testosterone. Well, but I will say, I don't know if I agree with all that, but I will say that there are a lot of women that don't think that a woman should be president. Apparently, there's a lot of women that didn't vote for Kamala Harris, and I know that I'm not saying that you should just vote for someone just because they're a woman, or vote for a black person or a person of color just because they're a person of color. It just so happens Barack Obama was a very good man, a very good person, and a very good candidate, and he just happened to be a person of color. And same with Hillary Clinton. I think Kamala Harris, they're women. Kamala Harris was a woman and a person of color, but I think they're also very good people, very, very well qualified. So, in other words, like if the other side, they tried to put up Condoleezza Rice or whatever they were going to do, and it's like, I wouldn't vote for that bitch, So, you got to also back it up with being qualified and have good policies, DPD 5844 Zoran doesn't take corporate money, nor does AOC. And I think that's good. Jolie says, I adore Jamie Raskin. Yeah, Raskin is really good. I wish more wouldn't, but I know there's this, these elections take millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I think there's just this fear that if I don't take the money, then that money is going to go to my opponent or something. I think they're in a tough spot. I don't think it's so clear and so black and white to just go, okay, this guy's taking corporate money, so that doesn't automatically disqualify them in my book. I mean, yeah, I would prefer that they all take the small donations, and they don't take corporate money, and maybe they should have meetings with Bernie and AOC and then Zoran and say, hey man, how do you guys do this? Because I think a lot of candidates and politicians are just afraid that they're going to lose out on, they're going to lose that money war and not get the advertising out that they need, and not get all the infrastructure they need to do their campaigns. So yeah, I wish that everyone could be like that, and maybe they can. Maybe it's just an excuse. Maybe I'm giving them an excuse, or whatever. I mean, I think probably Gavin Newsom, if he really wanted to, he could probably run a campaign like Bernie Sanders did. I think, pretty much, or at least enough that he could get a campaign going, a national campaign. National. I know sometimes I run my words, I slur my words, or whatever. A national campaign. I think he could do that. I think that would be a great thing. But if he doesn't, that doesn't mean that I'm going to X him off. I'm going to cross him off my list. Because there's other factors for me to consider. So I guess, in other words, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here. if a candidate is taking corporate money, to me that isn't going to automatically, I'm not going to automatically put them on the shit list. But I would wish that they would do things more like how AOC has done it, and Bernie. Bernie's very successful doing it that way. He won a lot of primary votes, millions and millions of primary votes over the last 2 elections. So it can be done as far as, well, he didn't win though, but as far as winning primaries, you can win primaries. We know that much. Anyhow, we'll see how it all plays out though, because other than like who's going to run, like I give a partial list of people I think might run in 2028. We're way ahead of ourselves here. Running in 2027. They'll start running in 2027. Probably start gearing up for it, for the campaign and everything, for the primaries. In early 2028. Who's going to be running? I know Hal Sparks is going to be running, he says. So we'll see we'll see what Hal does. Josh says that Obama came flying out of nowhere onto the national stage. Who knows who might be out there? Yeah, and we are early, and there's going to be kind of probably the list that I had, and there's going to be some people that I never even saw or commented or thought about, and we've still got almost 3 years, right? Well, 26, 27. Because at the end of 27, we're going to start hearing more and more, because the primaries they start up right in the beginning of 2028, right? So we'll start hearing about more and more people that are going to be running in 2020 at the end of 2027. So we're still 2 years away. We're probably 2 years away before we really start hearing the serious candidates coming out, and who's going to run and everything. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot that can happen. Barack Obama was an Illinois state representative, I believe, when he gave a speech at the DNC was that 2004? Was that for during when Kerry was running? And that's really what put Obama on the national spotlight. Everyone loved that speech that he made. And they're like, man, this guy's an up and coming, a future star of the Democratic Party. And boy, was he. Because 4 years later, he was president. I think it was 2024, DNC. I don't think, 2004. What did I say? I think it was 2004. I don't think it was the 2001. But in any case, and then he went from being a state senator to a U.S. House. Was he House rep or was he a senator? Now I'm forgetting. A U.S. senator in Illinois. But so he rose pretty fast. He went from making that speech, to being president in just 4 years. That was out of nowhere. That was really unprecedented, I think, at least in modern history. Is my mic still on? I don't know, when Steve says test, make sure my mic is still on. Oh, it's going out. Is it going out? Is the mic going out? Testing. I think it's going out, huh? It must be going out. Testing. Aaron says thumbs up. I'm not hearing it on my iPad, though. That's weird. You guys can hear me? Olga can hear me. Hello, hello, testing. Wow, that's weird that my on my iPad, I'm not hearing it. It's weird. Anyhow, I should end the show. So, guys, the guys are saying this sounds good. So, I'm going to go ahead and end the show. We're going 2 hours, 40 minutes. My battery's probably on my phone is probably almost dead anyhow. Okay, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow. It's Saturday, right after Hal Sparks. We'll do a Hal Sparks after show hangout at 11 a.m. We'll see you then. All right, guys. So I guess that's it. Just go ahead and do our words of wisdom. Get your pad and your paper out ready to write down today's words of wisdom, because these are really so good that you will want to do it. You'll want to live by these words of wisdom. All right, guys. But first of all, before I go, I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thanks for Michael McAndrews for the $10 super chat. Thanks to everyone for the likes, the subscribes, the sharing. Thanks for Jolie and Aaron helping out and coming in, even though you guys have real life stuff going on and you're still here hanging out. So I appreciate you. And Steve says I'm getting every third word. So I don't know. Me too. Something's going on. All right, guys. That's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right? Words of wisdom time. Okay, write this down. Okay, guys. So just remember to all.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Talk about Baghdad, I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So I style of Easter, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I try to kill. I could handle a skid, but doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win. Right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again.
Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. Apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. So you want to take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love. It's all about the thrills, it's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows, so go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.
Show's over. I'm out of here, folks. Bye.